And as a supplementary measure to the national lockdown in St. Kitts and Nevis, the government has launched a COVID-19 quarantine task force to ensure that persons who are supposed to be quarantined stay on their premises. ZIZ News spoke with Acting Comptroller of Customs Kennedy De Silva, who is a member of the task force. He said health officials backed by the security forces are visiting each person under quarantine to ensure that they follow the regulations or they'll face penalties.
One of the things that we need to make sure that legally, if someone is not in compliance of it, that we can essentially prosecute them or charge them a fine as the case may be, because we want to ensure the seriousness of it. We want to make sure everyone understands that they need to be quarantined if the health department so designate them to be a person who needs to be under quarantine. Otherwise, we risk the having a multiplier effect with the amount of people who gets infected.
He said so far the persons they have visited have been following the regulations.
Well, surprisingly enough, they went out yesterday and we were expecting a high degree of non-compliance. We actually got everyone who were compliant, so that is good. Today we are under curfew, so we expect most people to be home. So we are hoping over the next few days that we can essentially go to all the people who are on our list. We're doing it by zones and make sure that everyone has signed that agreement.
The agreement he referred to is a legally binding document which outlines the penalties that one would face if he or she breaks the quarantine. This document remains in effect for the period of their quarantine even after the lockdown ends. Mr. De Silva called on everyone to follow the Ministry of Health's guidelines to restrict the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
To not cooperate means that you are behaving in a suicidal behavior. And so we don't want that. I think individually we are sensible people and we need to pay attention to the guidelines that are so prescribed. We need to make sure that we don't get that spike that the other nations are getting, and we need to know that we can handle it so that even as we get it, is small cases that are manageable.
The Quarantine Task Force is made up of Acting Comptroller of Customs Kennedy De Silva, Head of Immigration Department Merslyn Hughes, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Kay Bass. They are supported by officials in the Ministry of Health and police officers.